All right, good morning, everybody. It looks like we've 9 o'clock. We've gone live on Facebook, and we're gonna give it about another minute or so. Let some people join right at 9 o'clock, and then we'll get started.
I will ping the illustrious 1315 and see if I can raise them on. Oh, look, it's changed in the text.
Yeah.
It's changed in the text, but not on the, like if you try to chat to it, it's not chattable.
Right.
No, because they joined by phone.
Yeah, sometimes you can chat at them if it's not a landline. I think Zoom's smart enough to know the difference. I've had that happen in the past.
All right. And we'll go ahead and get started now. I'm gonna screen share. There we go. Are we seeing the appropriate screen?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 1 Million Cups RTP chapter. Pretty excited about our presenter today. We have Ben Vester from Wyndscreen, and you'll get an opportunity to meet him shortly enough. But first, I'm going to just do a brief introduction to 1 Million Cups for those of you who haven't been here before. I'd like to welcome you and welcome everybody who is a regular attendee. We appreciate your participation. So let me just share real quick what 1 Million Cups is. 1 Million Cups is a free national program that's designed to educate, engage, and connect entrepreneurs. 1 Million Cups is basically the local entrepreneurial ecosystem building arm of the Kauffman Foundation. Kauffman Foundation is a $4 billion endowment for the promotion of economic development through entrepreneurship. And there's 160 plus 1 Million Cups communities across the country. We're a supportive, neutral, and industry agnostic space, and which means that we're welcoming of all entrepreneurs and their ideas and innovations here. This is not a pitch environment. What that means is that there's an expectation that our presenters do not sell to the room. And we want to make sure that we maintain that for the comfort and the integrity of both the program and our attendees. The format here is we have 1 to 2 startup companies giving 6-minute presentations, followed by 20 minutes of question and answer from the audience. And we'll address briefly how that question and answer session will go just before we go into Q&A. But the primary question that we ask is, what can we as a community do to help you, our presenter? We love for our community to get involved, and there's many ways that you can do that. One is that you can become an organizer, help connect and build our startup community by becoming a member of our organizing team. And you can reach out to any of us. I see on the call today, we've got myself, George, Terry, and David. You can reach out to us if you are interested in becoming an organizer or finding out more about how you can do that. You can also apply to present. If you have a company that you think would benefit from presenting to our community here at 1 Million Cups, simply go to our website, which is www.1millioncups.com/RTP, and click the button right at the top of the page that says apply to present. And it's a very simple application process. You just give us your contact information, a little bit about your company, and then that information goes directly to our intake coordinator, Tracy Ames, who will then walk you through the entire process. You can also refer a presenter. So you may not have a company that's ready to present or you think could benefit, but you may know somebody who does. And if you do, please invite them to come join us at a meeting, and or let them know that we're here to help, and we would love to show them how they can apply to present. And then, of course, the biggest way you can help and be part of the community is just attend our weekly meetings, and provide excellent feedback for our presenters. I want to thank our community organizers. The ones pictured here, we've got Krista Johnson Sotomayor, William Clote, the aforementioned Tracy Ames, who is our intake coordinator, Rosalinda Cruz. David Bates, George Stewart, and Terry Conlon are our presenter coaches and mentors, and they do a fantastic job working with our presenters and getting them ready to go. We've got Dan Hepworth and, of course, myself. I also want to thank our community sponsors. Muddy Dog Roasting Company Coffee provides our coffee during our live meetings. Imperative Product Operations, NC Idea, American Underground provides our space. David Bates' company Wise Insights, Global Training Initiative, GTI, that's over on NC State campus, Soto IIP, and New York Life. So as I mentioned before, today's presenter, we have Ben Vester, who's going to be talking to us about his innovative new way of bringing automotive and machines to you via e-commerce, I believe, but he's going to provide a much better explanation than I will. So go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, something like that.
Let me go ahead and stop.
Yeah, it's no big deal. No big deal. All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll get this rolling. Yeah, so come on. Yeah, so this is Wyndscreen. And it's going to be a new and greatly improved site for selling a privately owned used vehicle peer-to-peer, strictly for private owners, which is unique in this space. No dealers will be allowed. So currently we're in the idea phase. I'm pretty certain it's a great idea with this project. I've been working on this for about 2 years now, like I mentioned, and I'm at a point where I need more opinions, advice on early stage funding for a prototype, local developers in this space, and any other resources and partners that can help bring this idea to reality. So again, what is this? It'll be a website and app that will be a vastly superior platform for buying and selling privately owned used cars, trucks, motorcycles, ATVs, again, with no dealers interrupting. So why are we going to do this? So through my research and usage of the current platforms, it quickly became obvious that there's a need for a new site that addresses all of the many shortcomings of the well-known but flawed sites out there. They lack features and need a total rethink, in my opinion. I hope that many listening here have used at least one of the current platforms and understands my pain. I said to myself a long time ago, there has to be a better way to do this. So the intended result is we'll provide a much improved user interface for the buyer and the seller, which will in turn allow for far less wasted time, less scams, the seller to make more money, and the buyer will get what they want and be satisfied with the purchase, which is why many buyers go straight to dealers and usually pay more. So like I mentioned, the most popular current sites are ripe with issues that at this point we just had to live with. If you've used the sites for buying and or selling, you understand. But if you haven't, here's a quick rundown of the problems we'll try to solve. So all the free text and hashtags and tag words on the ads skew search results and bring up great amounts of irrelevant info. Tons of scams and spam. And for some reason, searching is limited and difficult to navigate on all the platforms. And on the selling side, many forget to include relevant info, and with all the irrelevant ads that pop up, the legit ads get lost and results in limited views for the people that are really trying to sell something. So here's how we're going to address these issues. We'll require mandatory info for all items for sale. We'll provide the ability to search locally and expand from there by local zip code, regions, or particular states, not just a radius like everyone else does. And also what will set us apart is we will partner with and advertise for vetted businesses that will help with all aspects of vehicle purchases, insurance, financing, inspections, vehicle pickup and drop-offs, and so on, mechanics and whatnot. And also we're going to try to get paid members to the site to get preferred status with said businesses. Currently, there are 10 million posts roughly nationally per year, which is about 25,000 posts per day. And our current goal is to capture just North Carolina, its initial target, 600 posts per day. So I've mentioned the top players in this arena. I'm sure you've heard of most of them: the Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Offer Up and Let Go. Offer Up and Let Go are primarily app-based, and they're the newest and by far the worst. They just came out there and didn't have a good platform. So many flaws exist on all these platforms. And what really drove me to do this and get serious was that, obviously Craigslist used to be free to use to post a vehicle for sale, but now it's $5, no questions asked, which pushes people into different categories and stuff, and it messes everything up. So Wyndscreen will operate as a freemium model, and you can post how you want for free, but enhanced site features will be worth the cost to upgrade. And so as you can see, the cost to post, the social media login needed, the free text that is searched, and the subpar search features are some of the many reasons we need to get this out there. So here's how we'll be better. It's not really that hard. And as you can see from the search results mock-up, all relevant info will be presented in a clear, easy to read, easy to scan manner, and each of the columns can be sorted via drop-downs. So here's the quick business model of everything. There's about 10 million posts per year in the United States. After about 2 years, we want to capture 30% of the US market, about 3 million posts per year, and try to get as many people to pay for the site as possible. And then also we will partner with local businesses to advertise and sponsor sections with the potential to offer auctions, insurance, and money transfer services in the future. So to bring it all together here, our top value proposition is that the buyers will not be fearful to buy from a private seller. In essence, you can get all the features from a dealer without actually going to one. And we all know the stigma with used car dealers. Also, if you would never even go to a dealer, your ad will get more views, and you'll be able to get quick answers to all questions you may have when buying a privately owned used car from a private seller. So like I said earlier, we're in the idea phase here. I worked on a high level with a few local developers to get cost and timeframes, but nothing really past that. And so what we need first is opinions on what you might want to see in a site like this, because it's just been me thinking about all this for a long time, and sometimes I get blinders on. So then we need to get advice on early stage prototype development partners and avenues in this area for early stage stuff, and also obviously any funding sources for ideas, and any next steps, literally anything, and maybe a logo designer. That's a pretty weak attempt, but we'll cross that bridge when needed. So this is about me. Last slide here. Investor, NC State grad, local to the area, and like I said, I said to myself many times, there has to be a better way to do this. So much wasted time, so much scam, so much fluff. So anyway, that's what I want to do, and I'm looking for anyone to help me make it a reality. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. Appreciate the presentation. First, we're going to go into question and answer period now, but just to go over the procedure, George is going to be moderating the question and answer session. So if you have a question for Ben or a comment, please send George a private message in the chat, and he will put you in line in the queue. And when it's your turn, he will call on you or send you a quick private message back saying you're up next. If you can, or feel comfortable, turn on your camera, unmute yourself, and then when it's your turn, go ahead and ask your question. Brief follow-up is okay, but if it turns into a back and forth conversation, we're going to be staying about 15 minutes after the 10 o'clock hour for general conversation with Ben. So if at that point, please save it for then. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Q&A. George, do we have somebody up first?
Yeah, Dwight is going to kick us off.
Hey, great presentation, and it really interesting model, because this is something I am sort of involved in also, the buying and selling of vehicles, especially as of late. And I'm curious, you picked on Craigslist a little bit, but I've actually had pretty good experience with that. And the $5, I think, is just to eliminate the spam. But my question is more around if you're having the inspections, right? So you're providing the inspection service. Are you offering any kind of warranty then? I mean, my concern is the liability here. I mean, if you go to an inspection and they miss something, especially in the used car business, I mean, if you're buying from a private seller, there's generally no implied warranty. It's sold, where as is, where is. But by you getting involved in the inspection process, do you see any issues with liability there?
So Wyndscreen would not be involved with the inspection process. We're just a site for getting buyers and sellers together. What we would do is we would go around and speak with local businesses that would be willing to advertise on our site. So when people are going out looking for a used car and they want to get a pre-purchase inspection like they would today, they'll quickly be pushed to these mechanics or whoever or shops in the area that focus on Hondas or Toyotas or whatever they're buying. And they'll like, all right, I'll take my car to this guy. He seems reputable. And then that will be a separate transaction. We're not getting involved with that. We're just trying to get buyers and sellers together and also get buyers as much information as possible to make a educated purchase.
Okay, I see. So that wasn't clear from the presentation. That's one.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it just would be all anything doing with the other businesses would just be, we're going to bring them on as local partners, but they do transactions on their own.
Okay, and so I'm just curious too. So, you know, I've actually sold quite a few vehicles on Craigslist recently, and I haven't had issues with it. So just, you know, I'm not sure. Yeah, I understand the $5 is just to discourage, you know, scammers, and I think it has. But yeah, I'm struggling. I mean, I don't think Craigslist is a bad thing, to be honest.
So in my opinion, and people I've talked with, yes, it's good for what it is. It's still relatively cheap. Everyone knows about it. It's chock full of everything you'd ever want. But their searching is very subpar. The way you have to search and go to different domains to actually get to different cities, or use a third-party app like Search Tempest or Auto Tempest to search multiple regions at one time, multiple sites at one time. It's very crude. It's been around for 20 years. It is what it is. It's super simple, no fluff. I get that, and I want to kind of mimic that, but also offer a lot more features, and also continuing to trim down the irrelevant ads that pop up, because all the free text is searchable in Craigslist. So if you just type in Toyota, anybody that mentions Toyota in their ad, it will bring up that, even though if it's a vehicle that you don't even want. So that's the biggest thing I want to change from the current platforms. Not really try to, you know, make it too much different and add any fluff. Really, just the search feature is terrible.
Okay,
Hey, Ben, Krista has a follow-up also related to the competition. Krista, are you with us?
I am. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm struggling to understand the difference between, I mean, I get your differentiator from a search perspective, I guess, with Craigslist, but what about CarMax? I mean, I don't see how this is any different. So maybe
CarMax
I'm missing something.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that's a lot of people ask that same question. CarMax and Auction Direct and places like that. It's still a dealer. You still have to go there, deal with the dealer, pay the price they want. Especially with CarMax, it's a no haggle. Here's the price you're going to pay, basically. And they have done very well with that model. Same with Auction Direct. But there's a sea of used vehicles, and it's not just CarMax. It's not just cars and trucks. I want to incorporate motorcycles and ATVs and anything like that as well into this site. So it would still be privately owned, like Craigslist is. You don't have to go to a dealer. You can more easily haggle with the price. And there's a lot of cars for sale at CarMax. There's also a lot of cars for sale privately owned by the private owners. So we're trying to capture that market and make it easier to find what you want in that side of it without going to the dealer.
Okay, follow-on question. How do you build trust in something like that? I mean, I think Nextdoor, for example, has succeeded because they brought in the trust element that everyone felt was missing from Craigslist. So you go to CarMax and you think, well, if something goes wrong, you know, that's a corporate entity that I could go after. And I mean, I'm not a litigious person, but I'm just saying,
Right.
How do you build the trust for a buyer? I kind of get it from the seller side, and you're trying to make it easier for the buyer, but for me, it's the trust element. How do you get that, you know, in the pre-inspection thing?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, currently, if you there's going to be millions of people that will want to go to the dealer for the warm and fuzzy feeling they get when they buy a car from an entity that they can come after or go ask questions if they have problems the next day. I get that. That's why dealers exist. But like I said, there's also millions and millions of vehicles that up to today and even today are being sold peer-to-peer, private seller, and there's whatever trust issues those people have, they don't care, or they work through it, or they're able to inspect it enough themselves to make an honest decision. So we're not trying to compete with the dealers. There's going to be people that go to the dealer no matter what, if this site existed or not. So that's a fact of it there. So
would you offer a guarantee? So something similar like
that's a
back
possibility. That's a possibility I thought of because, like I said, I want to bring in vetted businesses that we will constantly monitor for customers to use. And if we do have, we won't provide the guarantee up front, but they'll know that the buyers and the sellers will know that these businesses have at least been looked over a little bit. So you won't be going in completely blind. And also there will be a section of the site to leave reviews and stuff for these businesses. So you'll be able to read through before you go and go to Joe's Honda shop. You can kind of see if people have had good luck with him or not.
Hey, Ben,
yeah.
To that point, Dan has a question for you concerning dealers and how they play into your model.
Right.
Yeah, so you answered this a bit already, but I was curious, how do you see the relationship with car dealers being? Like, would they be a partner where they can like post premium content on your website, or would they be a competitor?
Dealers are a competitor to Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace as it is now. They also can post on there. But in my experience, dealers spam and scam sites and post. And again, I'm trying to work with just the privately owned vehicles for buying and selling. I don't want dealers advertising on this site. They already have 50 avenues where they can advertise their cars. They have their own website. They have the Craigslist and the Facebook, and they have the cars.com and the autotrader.com, which is 99% of that is dealer stock. So they have great avenues, fantastic avenues. They're actually pretty good. Some of those sites are pretty good too. So if we can pull some of the features from those sites would be good for private sellers. But no, dealers, in my opinion, get in the way. And if you want to go to a dealer, you'll go to a dealer. You're not gonna, you're not gonna worry about Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for the most part. You're going to go to cars.com or AutoTrader or CarMax or Auction Direct, and you're going to find what you want because they can search nationwide for you too. So it's more of the large niche of the privately owned vehicles that are bought and sold every day in the United States and around the world. Yeah,
Thanks, Ben.
No dealers. I want to get away from them. Sorry.
All right, go. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt you. No. So Nancy has a question about trust.
Yeah, to follow up on what Chris had brought up, I think a major differentiator for your company would be to build that trust where they felt like they would get a good deal. There's not a scammer. But how do you plan on doing that? Since, with other things like eBay, they rate purchases because they sell more than one time and they build up, a track record. For a lot of individuals, when they're selling a car, they're only going to do this once and maybe every 5 years or so. So how would do you have like a plan of how to screen people and make sure what they're putting down in their ad is actually what it is? I mean, I get that. And there's no foolproof way, 100% way of eliminating all scams and spam and irrelevant data. You can't do that unless you just sit there and monitor it all day, every day, which would cost a ton of money. But with the mandatory information, if you've used the Craigslist and the marketplace and the other sites, a lot of people advertise the scams are just they just post up some irrelevant stuff and it's just there, and I guess people click on it and get taken for a ride. Mm-hmm. But if we require the mandatory information, that will weed out a lot of it. So the site just by default will not be a good spot for scammers and spammers and bots to come in and do things. Also with the trust item, we would have
our differentiator from Facebook and Craigslist is we would have those local businesses that people can review and talk about on the site. So when you do buy a car once every 5 years and you have no idea what to do, you can go to our site. You can look up the mechanics, what to do as far as insurance, who a good local insurance agent in the area is, and be reviewed. We can do a 5-star review process, whatever, by the people that do buy and sell a car once a month on the site, and can have the opportunity to rate these local businesses. So it's not foolproof, but it's a big step above the current offerings. And we won't get involved with any of the money or anything like that really right now. So it would be a separate transaction. We're just trying to drive create the best transaction possible between the buyer and the seller. Once a week, once a month, once every 5 years, you'll still get access to all the same information when you want to, how to sell it, what a good price would be, anything like that. Anything related to buying and selling a vehicle, we want to get that information to you.
Okay. All right.
That's the general
All
idea.
right. So Rob has a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Rob Turley. Nice to meet you. So I have a suggestion. If you want to validate and build trust, some of the ones, I forget the names of the apps out there, but they're like Craigslist and it's for selling items and stuff. They require your driver's license or some form of ID in order to say that, one, you're a real person.
Yeah.
And then two, they use AI in the sense of being able, it's really not even just, it's just NLP to make sure that it's not just a spam thing, to understand what certain types of information that you put it through and what people are posting. So it's like a validation thing. It's really, really simple natural language processing. That's another thing. And another one is that with the legal that you write, there should be a terms of use agreement where there is no liability to you and there is full liability on the seller if they lied about what they sold. So there could be a clause in there and they are legally liable. So if there was a ripoff or if there was a scam, that person immediately has to pay reparations or has to undo what they did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know thank you for that. I don't know all of the technology out there for things like that. So this is why I wanted to get involved with this and talk it out. So
So the tracking of it's more important about the liability, the legal that you write, and getting the validation of their license, their passport, or whatever else it is. When it comes to the NLP, that doesn't really matter. It just makes it a smoother process so there isn't spam out there. But if anybody does put spam, they're going to very much pay for it.
Right.
But you also want to prevent that from happening, right?
Yeah. So however we would build the site, people smarter than I would know the best ways to try to keep the bots out or verify the actual person as a person, things like that on the front end. So I get that completely, and that will obviously help keep the scams and spam to a minimum, which will further differentiate us, and it'll be a trustworthy site to use. Absolutely.
Hey, Doug's
Appreciate
got a related question, very much related to what Rob has suggested.
Yeah, very similar. Just curious as to how long in the process will the buyers and sellers remain anonymous. One of the advantages, for example, on Craigslist, you don't even have to put out any sort of identifying information when you want to post something. But on the other hand, if you're a buyer, would you trust that seller if they're anonymous? I'm just wondering about the anonymity. And also, second question is, how is the selling experience differ for the seller? Is it easier to post? Do they get unlimited pictures? Do they get is there some sort of differentiator between posting on your site versus, cars.com or whatever?
Right. Yes. So absolutely. Yes. It would be, well, first of all, to bring people into the site, it would be free, which is a differentiator from Craigslist automatically. We'll have the site enhanced features we'll try to get people to pay for, but we can work through that later. But there will also be more pictures, possibly video, for some video walkarounds of the vehicle. So for the seller, your ad won't get lost in a sea of crazy data and information, because when a searcher searches for Toyota Camry, it'll just bring up Toyota Camrys. So your car will be seen quicker. And you can also we can also do some sponsorships, or, you pay to get your ad to the top of the page every time someone searches. So the seller will in theory, sell their item quicker, and that's what their intent is, to get rid of it as soon as possible. And what was your other question again? I forgot.
I would just ask about the anonymity, how long they remain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it would be just like Craigslist. It would be a email relay server until you wanted to give out your phone number or email. Craigslist does have a thing where you can like click to show your information. So we can do something like that too, maybe a little more secure. But the initial contact would be an email relay from the site with, you wouldn't be able to find whoever it was. It wouldn't be any personal information when you're just trying to communicate initially. So something like that, absolutely.
Yeah. And over time, you may want to build up, if you have repeat sellers, you may want to somehow identify them as a repeat seller. Sort of like on Twitter, you're you got, I forget what the terminology is, but you're a confirmed identity,
right,
something like that.
Right. And we can do that, and that may be part of the enhanced pay side of the site, or it could be just you've used it enough and we like you and you've actually reviewed some services for us and things like that. You can be a preferred user or star, 5-star user or whatever. So there's even more ways to get security into the site for the buyer and the seller. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for your contributions, Doug. Appreciate it. Next up is Dominic.
Yeah, I kind of want to go a bit of a different route, which is where are you as far as the development of the platform, and what do you need to bring this to fruition to have a minimum viable product?
Right. So like I've mentioned, I've spoken to a few developers in the area, and they've given me a full rundown of what's needed to get a fully functioning, robust site out. I don't know the exact number of users that site could handle initially. That's something else I need to work through. Is like what can I don't know what an MVP is going to take really. I know what it's going to take to get a fully functioning site out, but I'm sure we can scale everything back and get an MVP out there for just local users to get some feedback on the site. So that's something I need. I've got a full scale cost and time frame outline, but I don't know what the minimum is needed really.
So what's the full scale? What do you need what would you need to get that up and running? And because that might give us an idea of
so roughly
the trajectory.
2.5 years, about $100,000 to get a fully functioning, with all of the ideas I have, site out there. All of my ideas obviously won't be needed up front. We would want the security and all of the search functionality there, because that's our biggest differentiator. And then we would bring on the site sponsors and advertisers and stuff, and add those further features to the site as we got rolling. So I don't know what it would cost just to get the minimum security and search functionality and being able to actually post, to buy and sell on there yet. It would be less than that, and less time as well, time and money. So that's something I need to know. So when I'm looking for other funding sources in the area, I have a better idea of what is actually needed, and not just some large number that in theory may be the actual number.
Gotcha.
Hey, Ben, Dave's got a question which usually turns into a suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would probably have a little bit of a follow-up. I always get a little nervous when people have a fully built out MVP quote from a developer in the early stage.
Right.
Part of the question that I have for you is maybe to hear you talk about the network effect. So in order for this to be successful, you have to have people who have vehicles that they're willing to sell, and you have to have eyeballs from people who are buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And Craigslist and those guys, they've been around forever. They started with sort of nothing and got eyeballs. What I'm curious about is you actually have a three-legged network effect based on what you've described. So there's the buyers, the sellers, and then there's the people who are going to pay for the platform, which are the advertisers, which is interesting because that you just said is a secondary post MVP kind of development. So I'm curious about what your plans are for bringing all of these parties together in your MVP in such a way that you can actually prove that the idea is actually viable before you go spend a couple $100,000 of developer money.
Right. So the way I've thought of it, and I guess the way I think it would have to happen is we would get the MVP out there and get some users, get some traction. We could advertise on forums, at car shows, word of just, spread it out there as cheaply and quickly as possible to try to get people to post. Maybe do some YouTube videos like we found this car on Wyndscreen and it was awesome or whatever, and just try to get it out there as quickly as possible, as cheaply as possible, obviously. And then I would think that when we went to the potential advertisers, they'd want to see a fully structured site that's getting some traction before they would be willing to put money in it. So that's why I'm saying the MVP might not have the advertisers on it yet. We can do a coming soon, or this section is going to say this and whatever. Here's why we're better site, page or whatever. You can read over it. So as it kind of get some traction, get some eyeballs on, get some vehicles posted, and then go, hopefully relatively quickly, go and start talking with these advertisers and businesses in the area. Maybe even offer a 1 month free or 2 months free thing to, if you don't like it, you're not getting any business from it, we'll just pull it, no cost to anybody. We'll just delete the code out of the thing and it's gone. So that was my initial train of thought. Obviously it needed to kind of happen all at the same time, but a few months here and there, maybe 6 months of differentiating each step. So that's why I said the MVP might not have the fully functioning of the advertisers on there yet.
So quick follow up to that, and that is related to the request that you've made to the community.
Yeah.
One of those things is sort of advice and mentorship and whatever, right? Since 1 Million Cups is about sort of entrepreneurship resources, I would really strongly recommend that you look at 2 different books if you have the time to do it, or find people who actually know what they contain. The first one is called The 4 Steps to the Epiphany by Steve Blank. The second one is called The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. They're really fantastic resources for understanding how to do an MVP without spending all the money first.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. I actually have the Lean Startup book here. I never even read it though. So I need to do that, obviously. But yeah, I wanted to talk with everyone here first and to get all these ideas and just because like I said, sometimes I get the blinders on and I need to expand my horizons here. Absolutely. So I appreciate it.
Hey, Ben, Carol's got a question for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, this is Carol. I have a
morning.
question for you. Yes. I looked at, there's some people who are doing we have webs. Are you based in North Carolina?
Yes.
Yes, there is a guy in Charlotte, what I'm saying? He does the local car sales around Charlotte and all that stuff for people in the community and all that stuff. But what he does, people can pull up what do you call car flags, where you see the history of that, I'm saying, the car and everything. Yes. It's on the link. You can pull that up. And I'm saying, and his partner with the insurance company, one of the insurance company Allied, where people can buy insurance like a warranty and all that stuff. When you buy from an individual, you might want to look into that too, what I'm saying, so that people can pull that. My other question, where do you see yourself for the next 5 years, and who are your competitors too? What I'm saying.
Yeah. So
and what makes you different from the other websites and all that stuff?
Yeah, so we'll have a much better. So it'll be again strictly for private sellers. There'll be no dealer involvement. Is the initial idea. So we'll initially we just want to get the MVP out there, get some eyeballs, get some traction, and then get some advertisers to the site and expand from there. Expand the advertisers on the site. The advertisers will start to get some reviews and some reputation. We'll expand to different states. We'll address we'll expand our search features, and hopefully, nationwide. We want to try to cap because all the other platforms are nationwide, and we want to go nationwide as well. Even Craigslist is worldwide, so the sky is the limit literally here. So the differentiator, like I said, will be less scams and spam, and vetted businesses in the area, like you said, insurance and Carfax. We will definitely partner with insurance companies and Carfax, and you'll be able to pull all that up. There may be some fees there. We'll have to address that. But the buyer will be able to look and see, I need insurance, I need registration, I need pre-purchase inspection, and all of that stuff will be on the website. You won't have to go speak with anyone. You just click on there. You can set up an appointment online, and then go from there. And you can choose whatever you want: insurance, you pre-purchase inspection for sure. That's a big thing that most private buyers don't really do or do well, and they get burned. So we want to really encourage that.
So one follow-up is from Chrissa. So this is going back to something we talked about earlier. And then Rob's got a follow-up to Chris's question.
Okay.
So we're back to verifying sellers.
Yeah.
Chrissa, are you still with us?
Chrissa had to take
Oh, she
off.
dropped. Okay, well
Yeah.
then let's have Rob make his suggestion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I was going to say that, yeah, there's a lot of different things that you could do for the start of this. I'm not sure if advertisements are going to pay the bills right off the bat if you're trying to get funding, because you need to rely on quantity of people for advertising. You need people to trust the application before they want to pay for advertising in an application if it has a low number of users.
Right.
So you're going to have a little bit coming in. So why not do a commission base where if you take a percentage of the sale, people usually do not mind that if you take a small percent, because you're selling their car that they can't sell, right? People are open to that type of a thing. And personally, I would prefer something like that. That would just make more sense to me. As far as your ID verification, that is super important. You should make it a requirement. If you make it a requirement, then every single person on there is verified. So it's not even a question if they're verified or not. It's just they need to be verified to be on there, because I wouldn't join it unless everybody was verified. That could be done in the back end. People don't even have to see if they're verified. They just know that that's part of the process. It's just the back end of your system that knows that they're verified and has their contact information. So so anonymity is not even a concern. People don't have to see it. You have to see it, and it needs to be backed by the legal, right? And as far as, you know, with the development costs and everything, it is pretty much just a basic e-commerce site / app. It's not going to be all that expensive. Probably the most expensive thing is going to be the verification process, and that's still not even that much. So I don't think it's too much of an issue with that, because really it's just a click and shop site, right? So I don't think the development is going to be too expensive. I come from a custom development world, right? I mean, I couldn't see this costing more than 120K personally, if you have good developers and a dev firm behind it, if you're not doing it yourself. But yeah, I would think about how you want to launch this and how you're going to be making your money. Because if you tell an investor, I mean, if I was an investor in this case, if you said, oh yeah, we're gonna make money off of ads, I would not invest, because that money won't come in unless you blow up. And if you want to advertise this, look at how, what's it called? What is it? OfferUp. They're like the new Craigslist, where people get verified and they buy, sell, trade on there. And they became extremely popular right off the bat. I would look into how they advertised it and how they got their trust, because they pushed themselves in the market and blew up in months, because it's finally something that's reliable and trustworthy. And it's a mobile application for selling your stuff in a way that people can trust and understand.
Right. And great. Yeah, OfferUp, I mentioned OfferUp. So I've looked at all of those. I'm not totally dogging on all of the sites out there. They have some good features. So it would be best to list all the good features of the top 4 or 5 people out there and bring them into the back end of my site as well.
A lot of people think feature-based as well. It's not about the features. There's a platform out there for literally everything.
Yep.
Nobody cares about features specifically unless it is lacking features that they want. So it's not so much about that. It's about the reliability and the usefulness and the value that they get from it and the ease of use. It's more so the experience. The features are secondary to that.
Right. And by features, I meant the features that allow for the ease of use and the ease of functionality. And the different way of using the site that's intuitive and also verified on the back end. So yeah, OfferUp, they had a lot of money. They had a lot of money behind them, and they just came in and advertised everywhere. So that was a big hurdle for OfferUp and Let Go. they just came in and just plastered everything everywhere, and they had some slightly different features and functionality of the sites that were currently existing. So everyone just migrated. So people just kind of migrate to the next best, greatest thing, which is kind of a concern here. But if I bring in enough of the functionality and the verified users and the shops and everything, and the advertisers that are verified as well, it should be a lasting thing. I mean, Krebs has been around for 25 years now. So
Right. I'm saying,
thanks for your thanks for your contributions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The queue here. So let's.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's move on. Nancy has some suggestions on marketing and building up a market.
You know, I'm always thinking marketing. I'm always thinking target markets.
I need to talk to you then. Yeah, absolutely.
People who are very niched are the ones that are going to succeed. I mean, the more you focus in on that target market. And I thought of one that maybe you hadn't thought about. You were saying you didn't want dealers, but I think in your mind, you're thinking the big dealers. There's people that I know, well, I actually know of a couple. They only do a couple cars here and there. They are technically, I think they have to have some sort of certification as being dealers, but they don't have a lot. You know, they do in their house. They may be mechanics, they fix up. That would be a really good target market, because those people would be motivated. Number one, they need an audience, and they'd probably be willing to pay for ads. They'd be motivated to give a good deal and put honest information, because they want that good rating for next time, because they're planning on doing continual business. And they don't have the platforms like a big dealer. So, and there may be a way to reach them. I don't know what it is, but I imagine there's certain places they have to go to get parts or information, or go to auctions or whatever. So that might be a good way to get started, at least for your initial. And then you could, spread it out. Consumers are a lot harder to reach than a specific target market. So you might want to think about those type of people in your value proposition, thinking about, because they need, you're basically doing a matching.
Absolutely.
Sellers. So if you have a specific people that have something to offer, I think that would work. I mean, but don't say not all dealers, but you can say not all big dealers.
Right. Yeah, I should have clarified that. Yeah, I don't. Crossroads Ford and CarMax and stuff wouldn't be advertising on my site.
They have their own platforms.
Right. Yeah, they have their own platforms, and they have a lot more money to advertise everywhere they want. So I used to have my used car dealer and did that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I would advertise on Craigslist basically as a individual. But then when someone would come buy a car from me, they would find out I'm a dealer, because I would just process the paperwork as a dealer versus as an individual. So there really wasn't an issue there. And so if someone just posts a car or two a month on my site and maybe even advertise too, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. I was just talking about the kind of scammy, kind of dirty feeling used car dealers that just post, like price call, mileage call, all that stuff that just wastes a bunch of time. So you're right. The larger, more established dealerships that do it for a living wouldn't be our clientele. But yes, the individual guy selling one or two a month, absolutely, no problem.
Okay, good.
Hey, thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you to everyone who has contributed to Ben's idea and provided some suggestions and questions. As a reminder, Ben's going to stick around after 10 o'clock for just an unmoderated discussion Q&A. So anybody who wants to stick around, chit chat, exchange contact info, that'd be great. We're going to wrap up the Q&A with our lead organizer, Dominic. He's got one more question before he wraps up our meeting today.
Right. This one has to do with the revenue model. So I know Rob suggested maybe charging a commission for this. I think when you're talking about something that's for sale by owner, it's very easy to circumvent actually paying the platform on that level. So you may want to look at some sort of a subscription model of revenue, where in order to have access to the site, you have to pay some sort of monthly or service fee, and that could guarantee revenue generation for the site. But then if you've got regular sellers, like Nancy suggested, they would just continue to stay on the site because it becomes their platform for selling. And then it becomes about some of the features that you have that make this more unique than some of the other sites. And one of those that I would suggest is to Rob's point in the chat here is people look to buy a car before they sell their old one, right? So if you have something where a user could purchase or could get an upgrade in the system to be alerted when the exact car they're looking for becomes available, and they can be the first one to go see it, go drive it, potentially go buy it, that might be a feature that buyers are willing to pay for in this model, right? So it would be the initial subscription model, and then you're upselling within the site, right?
Right.
So,
I have addressed this in different discussions. It would be a tiered model, like the freemium up to a one-time use, a monthly use, and a yearly fee. And each one would get you in different and more enhanced site features and usability. And one of those things would be be able to set up alerts of what you're looking for and be able to set your criteria within the 7 or 8 criteria that a person would sell the vehicle by. You could set up one of those or all of those, and that was part of my paid for site functionality ideas. Yes.
So and I could see you doing the site as a free model when you're just establishing the MVP to see if there's a market for this, right?
Right.
But then once you have that, then you have to go to the paid subscription or however you decide to set it up to be able to access, because there's too many other site competitions. I've got Car Gurus pulled up right now, and they've got for sale by owner, and so they do have those things in addition to the big dealers. So you've got to have something that's going to pull people away from that, and that might be that exclusive access service that you can provide, especially with the ATVs and the motorcycles. That's where it gets into a very, very specialized market where people are looking for specific items.
Yes, absolutely. And there's Cycle Trader, which is strictly for motorcycles used, basically, supposed to be, but it's plastered by the dealers posting their 2021 new arrivals page after page after page after page. And someone looking for a used motorcycle, you're going to get frustrated with that. So I wanted to basically bring the same thing in for ATVs and motorcycles, anything that you can, maybe even boats, I don't know, anything you narrow down by, make, model, year, all that good stuff. So the market is larger than just the cars and trucks too. So maybe even large equipment, tractors, all that good stuff eventually. Just cars and trucks to get started with the ability to add stuff as we go along.
Gotcha. I would have those verticals available immediately.
Okay.
Just to create that additional differentiation. We're not an auto dealer. We're not a motorcycle or ATV dealer. We're a marketplace for motor vehicles of all kinds.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's my idea. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, hey, Ben, thanks for answering everybody's questions, and
no problem.
Great suggestions, great questions from the community today. So I appreciate that as well. We're going to go ahead and do community announcements right now. So if you have something that you'd like to announce to the community, an event, an upcoming like charity or anything that you'd like to discuss to the community, this is your time. Please send George a private message. Let him know that you have something that you would like to announce, and we'll give you some time. George, do we have anybody in the queue for this?
Just you, Dominic.
Just me. Well, let's see. I will go ahead and take this time to reiterate that we are always looking for new presenters. So if you have an idea that you'd like to present, or you think you can gain benefit or value from getting feedback to our community, we'd love to have you here. Ben, how do you feel like this was able to benefit you? Can you speak to that for just a moment?
I mean, I've attended a few of these before just to get a feel for how it flowed. When I saw how this was happening, as you know, it has to be virtually, obviously, but everyone, I enjoyed the question and answer section. And I wanted to be a part of that because it is, like I said, it is just me, and I wanted to hear the world's opinions. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and short of being in person in front of 50 people, this was great. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Do we have any other announcements?
No, we don't.
Okay, excellent. Well, with that, we're just going to go ahead and close today's meeting, and thank you all for being here. And next week, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m., will be 1 Million Cups. We'll see you then.